73-year-old Ninette Simons left bloodied, bruised and unconscious in a violent home invasion and robbery. According to police, her husband Philip was tied up and also assaulted when three people allegedly posed as police officers to get inside their Perth home.
Our heart goes out to that family. Incredibly traumatic experience.
Our thoughts, and I'm sure the thoughts of all Australians, will be with those who've been affected.
Former immigration detainee Majid Jamshidi Dakushkin, one of those arrested and charged. He's part of the cohort released last year after the High Court's landmark ruling that indefinite detention for people with no reasonable prospect of deportation is unlawful. It's a group the government said would be subject to strict monitoring and curfew conditions.
Our single-minded focus throughout this entire issue is how do we keep the Australian community safe?
Our focus has been on community safety throughout in responding to the High Court decision.
The opposition says this incident proves the government's approach has failed.
I want to see the Prime Minister sack the two ministers responsible for this dreadful circumstance.
They will be continuing in their roles, and Peter Dutton another day, another bit of negativity.
Late today, the Immigration Minister offered to speak directly to the victims of the WA attack, but he won't say whether the alleged offender was wearing an ankle bracelet or whether an application will be made to lock him up under preventative detention laws.
I can say that applications are well underway to respond to preventative detention for the most serious and violent offenders. And again, these will be matters that have to be determined by a court.
How long it might take to lodge the first application is unclear. Monty Bovill, ABC News, Canberra.
The rate of recidivism amongst this cohort of non-citizens may not be any higher than it is for Australians who've done jail time, but the government itself realised a different standard was expected here. It rushed through special laws after the release of these immigration detainees, which it said would keep the community safe. The disturbing image of a 73-year-old woman allegedly bashed unconscious during a home invasion involving one of those released raises serious questions about whether those laws are working. 5 months on, no applications have yet been made to lock anyone back up under a preventative detention order. The government says that's because a very high legal threshold must be met. Thousands of documents are required to build each case. It doesn't want this regime knocked out by the High Court. This is proving to be a painfully slow process. Nor is it clear how many of the cohort have had their ankle bracelets removed. The ABC is aware of at least 5. The government simply won't say. The transparency and monthly reporting of such data promised 6 weeks ago still hasn't happened. It's unclear exactly how decisions are being made on monitoring this cohort, who has to wear an ankle bracelet and who can roam more freely in the community. While those questions remain unanswered, the political pressure will only build.